In this video, I show you my new Dungeon Universalis boards and how I modified the file so that I don't have to use ball magnets. But before we get into today's video, just want to share with you what the GGGGs are for this month. Each month, Bob the Beholder picks some of my Patreon supporters to receive gratitude gifts. And for this month of November of 2022, we have an all-in pledge for Talisman Saber Kickstarter. That's happening right now. An all-in pledge for the Saucerman Studios Beam Down Terrain Designer. Some dice and cases from 3D Agos. And $100 to go towards a crowdfunding campaign, which my Patreon supporters are currently voting upon. Use the link below to go to my Patreon page to find out more information. Also, before we get into the video, just want to share that those of you who are close to St. Louis, we are having a Deadzone tournament. That is my most favorite sci-fi skirmish game. If you haven't seen my video, go ahead and check it out here. But we are having a casual tournament at the Cave Springs Miniature Market out in St. Charles. 150 points. You don't have to know how to play. You can come if you want to learn how to play. We have a couple of armies that you can borrow. I've also printed up these trophies, and there's going to be gift card giveaways for Miniature Market. So come out and join us if you can. By the time I post this video, it will be the very next day on Saturday, November 19th. A couple of weeks ago, I posted a video about all the different 3D prints that I made for Dungeon Universalis. If you haven't seen that, make sure to check it out here. And in that video, I did show how I was using my Hero Quest tiles from Dragon's Rest to build out all of the dungeons. Since then, I've decided to actually create some dedicated pre-built boards for the game for a couple of reasons. One is that by using the app, you can build out the layout of the dungeon that you're currently in without needing to spoil what the actual map looks like. And it just takes way too long to take all the individual pieces to build out each one of the rooms. So what I decided to do was to recreate some of the major tiles enough so that we can journey through about half of each of the maps and then just disassemble the ones that we've already built in and continue to build out that way. And so here you see a number of tiles that matches the different sizes and hallways from the cardboard terrain tiles that comes with the set. And also, I went ahead and took the opportunity to print out all of these different kinds of walls that Ian has come out with since I built my original Hero Quest board. And I really like the variety and the different styles and little designs that come with it. I think it just adds a lot more flavor from the plain walls that I was using before. As always, use the links below if you're interested in these files, not only the ones that Ian has, but also the files that I am going to request to be uploaded in the fan customized folder. And you do have to be a Dragon's Rest Patreon supporter to gain access to all of the fantasy files. The other reason why I decided to go this route is a lot of the tiles are the same size. So most of the tiles that come with the game are 6x6. And so I printed out a good number of these and I painted them up different colors and different styles just again to make it a little bit more colorful like my original Hero Quest board. And this makes setup a lot easier. As soon as a room is revealed in the app, we're able to build it out really quickly versus needing to take out the smaller pieces and put the room together. Another decision that I made was I decided not to magnetize the edges, and I went with the flat, shorter version because that means less print time and less PLA that's needed. And I really found that I don't need, when the pieces are this big, I really don't need much of an attachment against the different tiles that are placed on the board as you are exploring the dungeon. Pretty much the weight of it keeps it all together, and I don't have much of a reason to need to shift or move the map around while we're playing. If I wanted to do that, it does come with the smaller clips, the flat clips. I do use those because obviously this won't fit onto your print bed. So this piece is printed in two different pieces, and I use the smaller clips to push them together, and they are strong enough where these pieces aren't going to randomly fall apart. But I did decide to magnetize all of the walls just because I find it really quick and convenient to be able to just throw them on here like this. And in my original Hero Quest board, I used all ball magnets. But back then, they were pretty readily available. You could buy them usually from a Chinese distributor, and the cheapest I found was 1,000 ball magnets, 5mm ball magnets, for about $32 to $35, which makes each one of those ball magnets less than 4 cents each. But now it is almost impossible to find them, and I think they might be banned because it is a choking hazard, ties up kids' intestines because the magnets are so strong. Not 100% sure why those are banned versus the barrel magnets, because they are just as strong. But for now, I just cannot get my hands onto those ball magnets, even though the thing I love about them is you don't have to worry about polarity because the balls themselves will shift to whatever direction they need to in order to stick together. Now, Ian did come out with alternative files where you can use ball magnets, but one of the things that I noticed is that they are English size magnets, and funny enough, on Amazon, most of the ones that I find are actually metric sized. So I decided to go ahead and create my own magnets, and what I did was along the edges, I used Microsoft 3D Builder just to modify the files so that I could use 4x2mm barrel magnets that are inserted along the wall portion, the edge portion of these rooms. And then for the actual clip that goes into the walls, I use a 3mm by 3mm barrel magnet that fits into the clip. This is different from Ian's version where you actually put in 2 barrel magnets side by side. That way the polarity is always matching up, especially when you're using it for the sides. But I felt like that was a lot of work, unnecessary work for me, because I wasn't going to use any of the side magnets, but only the ones across the top. You do have to keep track of polarity just to make sure that it matches up with the floor pieces, but that works out super well. And I find that I don't have to, across these long pieces, put one magnet into each one of the holes, but typically along the ends, and that's plenty strong enough to keep the wall onto the floor. Also, one of the things that I did was I did go into 3D Builder and also combined the walls so that they are more than just 1 by 1. So the longest piece that I actually have are these 6 square wide pieces, and then that goes all the way down to just a single one. But again, this is all because this makes building out these rooms a lot faster as we're going along. Typically in a game where I know the map, I'll just build out the map with my old system, and I didn't mind that it took a long time to do that. But because we need to put down each one of the rooms as it's revealed by the app, this makes it a lot faster. Also, one of the things that I was struggling with was that because I had so many pieces with my Hero Quest set, that it was sort of a pain to have all of those pieces here on the board ready to use on the fly. Whereas this set I can put into a smaller container and just use this dedicated for the Dungeon Universalis game. And that's one of the things that I really love about 3D printing is, you know, I bought these files, I've had these files for a really long time, and as soon as I needed more, I could just print out all the ones that I needed. And so here we have a relatively new set using a lot of the same pieces from before. So that's just, again, one of the great things about 3D printing. You just print out the ones that you need as you need it. And if you haven't seen already, Ian has come out with sort of a cavern set. He's come out with a graveyard set, some things for Cursed City, things that work with the expansions for Hero Quest, which I haven't bought any of those expansions, but he just continues to crank out really good pieces, including the sci-fi pieces that he recently came out with. Again, I made a video about that as well. I know a lot of you have asked about where to get ball magnets, and now I can tell you, just go ahead and get the 3x3mm magnets as well as the 4x2mm magnets, because those are easily purchased on Amazon and you can insert them relatively easily. I don't have to use glue or anything like that in order to insert them. Happy printing, happy gaming. We'll see you next time.